Hello friends, welcome to the higher module on institutional management for entrepreneurship. We are into the unit number 5, which is on business startups, and we are discussing the business plan formulation. This is the second video for the business plan formulation. In this we will discuss the remaining features of the business plan, that is the space considerations, miscellaneous assets, production process, production program, raw material, utilities, manpower, market, working capital requirements, cost of the project. And then we will discuss the implementation schedule and then the common errors which a person normally has in the business plan formulation. So, the next was the space considerations. In this we give the compute the built up area requirements and find out the building regulations. Then the built up area required for the production means the factory basically. Then the auxiliary services like labs, workshops, administration area, godowns, miscellaneous like security, cabins, tanks, etc. Then we have to keep provision for expansion of the built up area. Normally we keep around 100% more this thing provision just for future. Then the open storage area required, then take into account the various laws regarding the construction restriction etc. And then the specifications of the buildings will depend upon types of the industry. Then we will discuss certain miscellaneous assets like the air conditioner systems, office automation equipments etc. Then description of the such assets along with the cost and source of the procuring. Next comes the production process. In this basically we evaluate the technical feasibility of the project. Technical feasibility means the adequacy of the proposed manufacturing process and plant and machinery to produce a given product within the framework of the quality specifications. So, whether your machinery can provide that quality parameters which you are intended to have, that is known as the technical feasibility. Then a description of the production process, the entire production process you will describe. There would be a process flow chart also. Then the details of the technology, in this if the technology is indigenous or imported you will indicate. Then the arrangements for technical know-how, any alternative to the technology, if it is there then you will specify over there. Then how these alternatives have been evaluated, and possibility of change in the technology in the course of time. It is quite possible that the technology which you are using, it may change in future. So, that you have to again indicate. Then is the production program, and this we calculate the time required to make like one batch of the product. Then how many will you be making in the first year, second year and so on. It all depends on the operating capacity. If it is 50%, there would be certain specific number of products units, 60%, 70%, 80%, it will keep on increasing. Then any national or international standards set for the product quality, and in case it is there then how to achieve it. The next item is regarding the raw materials. In this we will give the list of raw materials including all the chemicals, consumables and packing materials required, the quantity required for 1 unit of the output, then quantity needed in the very first year, second year, third year and so on. Then the quality specifications for the raw materials and from where you will be sourcing or procuring the raw material. Then the cost of raw material, in this you will also add the GST and the freight expenses etc. Supply position of the raw material, then any type arrangement for procurement of the raw materials, what are the alternatives to the raw materials and the credit period which the suppliers will give to you for the purchase of the raw materials. Next is the utilities. In this we will calculate the requirements of the power, water, steam, compressed air and other consumables, their quantity and the value. Then the sources from where you will be getting those utilities, the availability and any specific alternative arrangements for electric power. The next component is regarding the manpower. So, the requirement of the skilled, semi skilled, unskilled personnel, then the requirement of the administrative / managerial staff and the marketing personnel, then the cost of the manpower in terms of their salaries, etc., the availability, and any scheme for training the skilled manpower in case they are not easily or readily available. Next parameter is the market. In this we first take the current market status. So, who are the major end uses of the product, any substitute product available already, then who are the major buyers, what is the major criteria that a buyer looks for while purchasing that specific product, and are there similar products available in the market. In case it is yes, then what are their strengths. Status regarding the competitors at the regional or at the national level, major strengths and weaknesses of the competitors, how your product will be different from your competitors, the trade practices being adopted by the competitors. And the next is the proposed approach towards the marketing in terms of the geographical reach, which areas you want to capture for your products, distribution channels, there are many channels. So, which channel you want to adopt, the trade practices and strategy for entering into a market. Next is the working capital requirements. In this we will calculate the stock level of raw material, the work in progress and finished goods and the amount involved. Then calculate the total working capital requirement and the sources to meet the same, from where you will be getting the raw working capital. Then the extent of credit facility available from the suppliers of raw materials, and then the arrangements for financing the working capital. So, in the end we calculate the cost of the project, and this the first major element is the land and site development, in which we will indicate the cost of the land related legal charges, leveling and filling charges, approach or internal road charges, fencing or compound wall charges, and cost of the gates. The second major element is the building and the civil works, and this we calculate the factory building, the office building, godowns and such other structures at the project site, then the tanks, garages at the project site, sewers, drainage, architects fees, etc. The third major component is the plant and machinery. So, first is the price of the machinery, then you have to add the GST, freight, packing, transit, insurance, etc. Then the space which you will buy along with the machinery, and foundation and installation cost of the machinery. Then we have the other fixed assets like the furniture, office equipments, miscellaneous tools, vehicles, equipments, cabling for the distribution of power, then equipment and piping for the water supply, lab equipments, workshop equipments, firefighting equipments, effluent collection, treatment and disposal arrangements, diesel generating sets and other assets. Next is the technical know-how fee, including the training cost. The next major expenditure is the preliminary and pre-operative expenses, which normally get incurred before you start your actual business or actual enterprise. This include the fund flotation, there are expenses to float the firm, then feasibility report, the same business plan, if you get it made from some chartered accountant or some other person, he will be charging some money for that. Then the capital raising, salary and administrative cost during the implementation period, then the rent, taxes during the implementation period, the travel cost during the implementation period, interest during the implementation period, insurance during the implementation period, and trial production cost. Next is the working capital margin, which we normally put as a part of the business plan. Then the contingencies and escalation, which is normally 10% of the total project cost. So, next comes the implementation schedule. The task of preparing such a schedule forces you to number 1, to list the various steps which you will have to take prior to the commencement of the commercial production, to appreciate the interdependence among these steps, and hence the chain effect of delay in carrying out one step on the overall implementation schedule. Then to work out a calendar for bringing in your own funds for implementation. It also acts as an aid to ensure timely implementation of your plan. The delay in implementation may jeopardize the financial viability of the project itself, because there would be some escalations in that case. And implementation schedule is required to arrive at an estimate of interest during the construction period. It is important to work out a realistic schedule and build a sufficient margin of safety. This is an illustration of implementation schedule. So, you can put all the different tasks on the x axis, on the y axis. On the x axis we have the different months. The months can vary from 0 to say 12, 13, 14 months. It all depends on how big the enterprise is. Could be some 3-4 months also if it is a small enterprise. So, you have to write all this the task, and then you have to make the bars. So, some bars could be overlapping, some bars could be sequential depending upon the type of the activity. Certain common errors in making business plan. The first error is the capacity utilization estimate. So, people normally they are very unrealistic in deciding about the capacity utilization, because a fresh entrepreneur is very enthusiastic. He will say that I will say 100% capacity utilization or 90% capacity utilization, which may not be the case. So, you can start with a very humble say 50-60% in the very first year, and then you can gradually you can go up. Then the capacity computation is again a miscalculation. It is a technical task not always performed competently. There are several finer points like die changing time, downtime, periodic shutdown time, capacity of other equipments, which tend to lower the overall installed capacity. Then market study, it again could be a neglected area. I think we have to be very serious regarding the market study. Then machinery selection, again there are certain serious errors. Sometimes we buy a very cheap machinery, but it may prove to be very expensive in the long run. Then the technology oriented products. So, sometimes we have very shaky arrangements with the other parties. Then the project cost, sometimes we do tend to underestimate the project cost, and it can create a problem later on. Location selection, there are certain temptations. In case you are living at a place, you will try to have your business in a nearby area. That area may not be very good for your enterprise. So, you have to avoid the temptations and go for the professional selection. The selling price, there could be unfounded optimism, because sometimes we think that we will be having a very good quality product, it will sell at a very higher price, but it may not happen, because Indian market is very price conscious. So, you have to be near to your competitors' price. Then the cash flow in the initial years, there could be some poor details. So, these are some of the common errors which normally people commit, and I think it is very important to be very thorough with the business plan formulation. Even you can take the help of some professionals, chartered accountant, other people, while getting the business plan made. But in case you are using the professionals, you should know what is there in your business plan, because when you go to the bank to justify your proposal for taking a loan, so you have to defend your business plan. So, there your CAs will not be there. So, you have to defend. So, you must know what is written in your business plan, I mean all nitty gritty, all the things. So, I think that is all. With this we conclude this business plan formulation. It was in 2 videos, as I said earlier also. This was the second video, and in case you want to go more into the details, please refer to the e-contents for this business plan formulation. Thank you so much.